Hello and thank you for joining us on CoreTV News on the Hour. I am Ebuloma Adekunle. Popular Ojawa market in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State was raced down by fire early hours of today by unknown persons despite the imposed curfew. The youths accused the mobile police force of providing cover for the perpetrators while the act lasted. The police were also accused of obstructing traders from evacuating their goods and properties. The Commissioner of Police, Etop John James, took cover at the Ober's Palace as youths defied canisters and barricades and started an attack on police officials. The Governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, also visited the scene and sympathized with the people. As the crisis between herdsmen and the villagers in Plateau State continue to linger, the state has been thrown into mourning after some villagers were reportedly killed in Barkinladi local government area. According to the villagers, Fulani herdsmen attacked Barkinladi local government area, burnt down over 100 houses and left about 22 people dead. However, official reports record the death toll at 7. The victims are now being buried and the community continues to live in fear of more Fulani attacks in the state. Niger Republic's President Muhammadu Issoufou has heaped praises on President Goodluck Jonathan for his leadership qualities in Nigeria and the rest of the continent. This, he noted, is because of the way he made Africa proud by conceding defeat after the March 28th presidential election. Issoufou spoke with State House correspondents through an interpreter after a closed-door meeting with President Jonathan at the presidential villa, Abuja.
Mais le plus important aussi que je voudrais souligner, c'est le comportement du président à l'occasion des dernières élections présidentielles organisées ici au Nigeria. Avant ces élections,
and to congratulate him. That was a great lesson. It's a great lesson to all Africa, to all Africans. It's a good legacy that Mr. President is leaving behind for other countries to emulate. In fact, Mr. President has set a new model of democracy for ECOWAS countries.
Grâce aux convictions démocratiques.
After his meeting with President Jonathan, the Nigerian president also paid a courtesy call on President-elect Muhammadu Buhari. He described the visit as a solidarity one and pointed out that the recent free and peaceful elections in Nigeria would impact positively on the development of democracy in Africa. In his response, the president-elect thanked the Niger leader for his interest and good wishes. Muhammadu Buhari also noted that there is a lot in common between Nigeria and all its neighbors in terms of overlapping ethnic groups, language and culture. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Tahiru Jega, has said that the success of the 2015 elections proved doomsday predictions in the international media wrong. The INEC chairman made the comment when he received a delegation from Mexico led by the ambassador in Nigeria, Marco Blanco. Professor Jega was delighted by the offer from the South American country to share experiences with its electoral body and explained that the 2015 elections were much better than that of 2011. He, however, admitted that there was room for improvement. Jega also appreciated the efforts of the Mexican embassy in working out a memorandum of understanding between both countries and sharing electoral experiences. Earlier, the ambassador has said his mission to INEC was to transmit a congratulatory message to the Commission on the great job it did. Acting National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Uche Secondus, says the exit of his predecessor, Adamu Mwazu, and the Chairman, Board of Trustees, Tony Anene, will have no negative effect on the party. He said this while speaking with State House correspondents after a meeting with President Goodluck Jonathan at the presidential villa. Secondus also insisted that the duo put in their resignation voluntarily.
But you know that it's not right and it's not constitutional. Again, the chairman did that voluntarily, and the BOT also did that voluntarily. The others have tenure, all of us. At the end of our tenure, if we are elected, fine. If not, that is the right thing to do.
You don't see any reason for you to do the same?
No reason, because we have worked hard.
A lot of people are wondering the coincidence between the national chairman and the BOT chairman resigning almost at the same time. They see it as
sometimes,
a blow.
Sometimes it wasn't a big blow. Sometimes it has to happen that way.
And you are sure they were not forced to do so?
Nobody forced them. No force.
National leader of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, says the party has not zoned the leadership positions of the National Assembly to any part of the country. He also insists that party leaders have no plans to interfere in the election of principal leaders of the chambers. The former Lagos State governor spoke to journalists at the Defense House, Abuja.
The nation is expecting us to take a decisive leadership decision. Make one meritoriously. Merit will not be compromised. You have to be competent. You have to possess the kind of character, attributes for the leadership. You have to be pan-Nigerian and be a very solid character to lead the National Assembly. And that is what we are talking about. So it's not zoning to compromise quality of leadership and qualification and competency of an individual.
Federal lawmakers from the Kano and Jigawa caucus of the House of Representatives have endorsed Femi Gbajabiamila as the next speaker. They based their decision to support the serving minority leader on his contributions during the soon-to-end 7th Assembly. But the lawmakers insist that the decision of the leadership of the All Progressives Congress on zoning of the position also remains paramount.
We are coming from the background of party discipline. So the position of our caucus is that we are waiting for the decision of our party. And wherever the party zones the speakership, members of Kano will not go astray. If for whatever reason, the position of the speaker is zoned to the southwest, as the case may be, then I will tell you, no one of our members will miss Femi.
Femi has been minority leader now for 8 years, and he was a member for, I think, 4 years. And those of us who have been with him in the last 4 years can attest to the fact that he is someone who is very dogged, someone who will say it as it is, someone who will stand and fight for the right of the common man without fear of what may be the consequence. And I believe in this era of change, which is a mantra of our party, we need someone who can come with bold ideas, ideas that can change the way and manner Nigerians perceive.
The Senate has mandated its committees on petroleum resources upstream and downstream to investigate the lingering fuel scarcity in the country. This followed a motion by the Deputy Senate Leader, Abdul Ningi, who stressed the need to get to the root of the nationwide fuels crisis. He argued that since the 7th Senate would not wind up until June 1st, senators have a duty to help ease the current situation. Deputy Senate President Ike Kuremadu, who presided over the plenary, approved the motion without debate.
Mr. President, I had the privilege of meeting you this morning in regards to the serious challenges that our nation is facing. There is economic challenge, there is power challenge, but the fact of today's matter is the chronic fuel scarcity in Nigeria. I think we need to remind ourselves we still have the mandate of the people until the 1st of June. We are still the representatives of the people. This is not a matter that we had discussed in the past, but this is a matter that we need information. We need information to be able to plan, Mr. President. As Nigerians, we need to know, we need to ask questions whether fuel scarcity has come to stay. We need to know whether it will become part of our life. We need to actually plan. By planning and by talking about it, we are now sensitizing Nigerians to brace up for the incoming issue of fuel scarcity. Whether it's going to be here permanently, whether it's going to be temporary, but we can't know all these things until we hear from the officials, until we hear from the experts. Therefore, my prayer, Mr. Senate President, is to ask the committees of downstream and upstream to come up with explanation on Tuesday next week, through which they will inform the Senate and through which Nigerians will also know and plan their future. Otherwise, I think it is both legally and morally not right to keep silent about it, to sweep it under the carpet, and to continue to believe these things are usual and nothing matters.
Meanwhile, the Senate on Thursday ignored a petition filed by the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs to clear President Goodluck Jonathan nominees for appointment into the board of the National Hajj Commission. The council had claimed that the president did not consult with it before forwarding the list to the Senate. Aside from the Islamic Council, 2 other bodies sent in petitions against the nomination of Abdullahi Muhammad as chairman of the commission. Chairman Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Sani Saleh, drew attention to the petitions while presenting the committee's report, but the Senate confirmed the appointment of the chairman and 7 members of the commission in spite of NCIA's objection. It's the CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a break and return with more stories. Don't go away.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that should be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it's just about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power.
In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
Thank you for being there, and for more on CoreTV News and other information, you can visit our social media platforms on Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News, our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. And on YouTube, youtube.com/CoreTV with a space for the news. Ahead May 29th handover ceremony, Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase has ordered all zonal assistant inspectors general of police and command commissioners of police to beef up security around all key and vulnerable points nationwide. The IG directed that critical infrastructures like filling stations, major hotels, national and state houses of assembly, Eagle Square, Abuja and other public places should be protected ahead of the May 29th 2015 inauguration of new administration in the country. In a statement issued by the first public relations officer, Emmanuel Ojukwu, the IGP explained that this was necessary to ward off possible plans by insurgents to carry out violent and coordinated attacks on various installations and public places during the handover ceremony. The police high command urged members of the public to continue collaborating with officers and men of the Nigerian police and other security agencies to stamp out crimes, including terrorism. The statement noted that the police had perfected strategies to prepare safe and secure ground for hitch-free inauguration of new governments nationwide. The Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, has ordered all commissioners of police not to hold any suspect in detention for more than 48 hours. He also wants the rank and file against handling bags or any items for individual they are meant to protect. The police chief maintains that any operative caught in the act could be arrested and prosecuted. Pius Samuel has more.
This is the first time since its confirmation that the Inspector General will be meeting with the rank and file of the police. They have come from across all the 12 zones to interface with the police chief. And in his address, the Inspector General reaffirmed the promise he first made when he assumed office a few weeks ago. He also had a word of caution for command CPs on detention of suspects.
You will not invite anybody to our facilities and detain them for more than 48 hours. You must ensure that you gather evidence before anybody is invited to our police stations. We have already sent out teams of escort, IGP monitoring, and provost to ensure that these directives are strictly adhered to.
Arase wants police officers across the country to have a change of attitude to work. And for operatives attached to VIPs, the police chief made it clear he won't tolerate them handling anything other than their weapons.
We have decided that henceforth, only government officials will enjoy police protections. Those of you who are posted to various VIPs on no account should you carry their bags. On no account should you act as domestic servants to them. You are police officers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and they must respect you as such.
To ensure that the force is accountable to its officers, the IG gave other members of the police high command the opportunity to speak with the men. Deputy Inspector Generals took turns to share their cardinal objectives with the rank and file.
The IG and management team, we met and decided that now going to any institution is on merit.
This concept of community policing is all about living and working harmoniously with members of the public and the communities that we serve.
You all know there is a policy in this force that you should not take your arms and ammunition home. You all know that we have strongly advised you that if you're going to your beats or your patrols, walk in groups.
The Inspector General of Police also promised to make the welfare of the rank and file his key priority. For now, he has approved promotion for 36,599 officers and men of the force. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
The result of the clash between the drivers' union and the Hausa community in Ado-Ekiti is beginning to dawn on the affected victims. The clash, which snowballed from a trivial issue, was hijacked by hoodlums who wreaked havoc, resulting to looting, arson and wanton destruction of property. While making the spot assessment, State Governor Ayofayoshe declared dusk to dawn curfew on the state. Rashid has more in this report from Ado-Ekiti.
The crisis which shook Ado-Ekiti to its root can only be described as an avoidable calamity. With temporary calm returning to the city and all sides holding on for the now, the affected traders visit the scene as they count their losses, perplexed over their situation.
They were just pursuing me. I was begging them, please, we are not outside, we are not. They said we are together. They have done it. They just start. Sir, about 4 million. Where I want to start? No, where I can start. Okay, where I want to start now? I just graduate. I'm a graduate. No work, no job, no anything. I just use this one to just sponsor myself. Nothing. Look at now where I want to start. They even bomb my shop, sir.
While on an assessment tour of the crisis scene earlier by the state governor Ayofayoshe, the Hausa leadership aired their despair and disappointment over what they describe as mistaken identity and their readiness to allow peace reign. This is even coming as armored personnel carriers had to disperse irate youths on both sides.
The 419ers. So, but Hausa people are not 419ers. As they are coming, what they normally do is that they will just throw stones and bottles inside the houses.
Governor Fayoshe expressed regret over the crisis as he sued for peace. He, however, declared a dusk to dawn curfew.
Therefore, tonight, from this evening, from 6 o'clock this evening, I am imposing curfew on Ado Metropolis. When I leave you here, I'm going to go and talk to them and tell them that anybody will find cutlass or any dangerous weapon on them. Whatever tribe you have, we are going to arrest you.
With the state government set to try any culprit, the onus lies on the police to make arrests rather than retain a laid-back posture as displayed while the crisis lasted. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado-Ekiti.
The May 29th Inauguration Committee for Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed of Kwara State has been set up. The committee, headed by Kola Shitu, will look into ways of working out strategies for successful ceremony. In his briefing, the chairman of the committee, Kola Shitu, unveiled the new administration's program, which is aimed at building on the current achievement to chart fresh prosperity for the state and its people. He attributed the success of the present administration to the glory of God and the ability and willingness of Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed to have meaningful impact on its people across the state, and titled the
of the administration's plan to unveil new programs designed to build on current achievements to chart fresh prosperity to our state and its people. In line with these realities, the theme of this inauguration is therefore making our good better. While Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed's impressive outing in the last 4 years deserves celebration, the mood of the nation called for sobriety, which largely informed the low-key nature of this inauguration.
And that's it on the news for this hour. Join us again, top of the hour for more. Thank you for watching. I am Ebolomo Adekunle.